when you're outsourcing stuff, like finding the right people is super important.
Yeah, exactly.
Super important.
And it's like it's gotta be to the point where it's like
it's running on its own.
Not just running on even before that, it has to get to the point like the person that you are outsourcing your business to has to have the same mindset
as you.
In that, like, okay, if I got $100,000 right here and you dead broke, like you got no money, like you dead broke, right? I gotta and like there's 100 bands right here. I gotta trust that you're not gonna take that and run away with it, right? That's another thing that's really like difficult when it comes to starting a business, like outsourcing.
So that's a great point, right? So like, say for example, you have an online business, or not only an online business, but also even like a physical business where like has a location, and like you hire employees, or even in the online world when you're outsourcing stuff, like selecting your employees is definitely a very big one. At least in my experience, where I had to do a bit of real estate and like go back home, and like it's really difficult when you're not on the spot and you're not like monitoring 24/7. It's really hard, because now it's as if like you gave your entire business to that one person for them to really execute, and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, because you don't have visibility sometimes. So it's really that's really I would say a really big one as well.
For sure.
In
especially when you're trying to start something outside of Canada.
Right?
Because like you got like the advice that I got from people because I know people that do stuff like in Ghana, where like they do business in Ghana. Like I was recently talking to my barber about some stuff about like because he's from Ghana. He's of Ghanaian descent, right? And I asked him some questions like, yo, like how do you start up this, that, and the third? Because I think he was starting something in Ghana, and he said like, yo, bro, listen, if you really want to do this, you gotta be in Ghana for 6 months. Don't think that you can just be in Montreal or whatever and have the thing. Like, you gotta be there to see everything, because there's too many snakes out there.
I used to sleep on that sentence. Remember when I used to be like, yo, honestly, you can do it from everywhere, until I went there and I actually figured it out for my own. You need to be there for real.
Absolutely.
It's so hard. I remember numbers I called you. I was like, bro, like I don't know what to do.
Some nonsense.
And some nonsense that you know what I mean? Where like you're like, bro, like we agreed on something. Like what's going on right now? And then they're like, oh, but you're in Canada. Like, why do you like? You're living a good life. We're out here, busting our ass for you, and like, you know what I mean.
And the worst part is they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They don't know
what's going on. They don't know the marketing you spent on the entire business.
Bro.
They don't know all the overhead costs that's in play. These guys, I mean, like, it's really difficult when you're outsourcing stuff. Like, finding the right people is super important.
Yeah, exactly.
Super important.
And it's like it's gotta be to the point where it's like
it's running on its own.
Not just running on, even before that, it has to get to the point like the person that you are outsourcing your business to has to have the same mindset
as you.
In that, like, okay, if I got $100,000 right here and you dead broke, like you got no money, like you dead broke, right? I gotta and like there's 100 bands right here. I gotta trust that you're not gonna take that and run away with it, right? That's the type of character that I need. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of trust that I need to have with you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have no money and you got 100,000, like, yo, it's very tempting. Like, I'm gonna just take this and run away. You will never see me again, right? So I gotta trust you to that extent.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? And how do you get that trust when there's no rapport? You don't really know this person. You know what I'm saying?
At least in my experience, what I found worked best really is letting the person who you're outsourcing your work to have very minimal impact on your business.
Yes.
To the point where you're like, if this person does me wrong or just does something shady, you're not affected that much. Yeah. You might take a little L, but it's not a big L. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Where you still, you still have a major control over your business. Where like you don't rely completely on that person. I think that's really one of the ways where, if you're not too sure about the person, or like, you feel like you don't want to take, you want to have some level of insurance, I feel like that's the best way to go about it, But man, it's tough. It's I'll have to say that when you're starting a business, it's not all rosy. You'll find there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be self-doubt, there's going to be more mental barriers than we're like, it's not as easy as people make it seem like.
For sure. Definitely. That's the one thing, like, you got to understand, like, all, like, just to like, kind of like, end it off with this, like, the stress level is super high. So for anybody that's trying to do like entrepreneurship, yo, don't look at the like, cause I'm sure there's a lot of gurus out there, whatever.
Yeah.
Like screen them and make sure that they verify, because it's too easy to look at the numbers and be like, oh, yo, this guy made this amount a month, or he made this amount a year and stuff like that. It's easy to look at that and be like, oh, yo, I could do it too. Like, cause I'm not saying that you can do it, but like what you want to do is you want to make sure that like you're screening them and making sure that, like, you know what I'm saying,
with enough marketing budget and a nice facade, you can fool anybody you want. You can fool
anybody. Wallahi, that's the thing, and that's how they get you.
That's how they get you.
You know what I'm saying? So
all that to say that, bro, yo, may Allah make it easy
for all of us, man.
All of us, whether you're starting a business or you're starting your career in the professional world. May Allah make it easy for us.
Whether even if you're doing a 9 to 5, yo, wallahi, may Allah make it easy for you too. You know, because yo, there's no hate around here. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
So man, yo, with that
being said,
oh man, I gotta say it again.
Stay Rizqy.
Yo, we need to trademark that or something. You know what I mean?
Wallahi, for real, man.
Yo, but let me just end off with a dua. Once again, you know what I'm saying? We gotta end it off with a dua.
True.
So, Allahumma inni as'aluka ilma nafi'a wa rizqa tayyiba wa amala mutaqabbala. Oh Allah, I ask you for beneficial knowledge, godly provisions, and acceptable deeds. Once again, stay Rizqy.
Stay Rizqy.